So also in your video, you mentioned that justice can help make the world fair in an unfair
Right.
world. However, you said we also live in a broken world, so justice would need somehow like certain laws to kind of manipulate certain outcomes. So
Yep.
why do you believe this is accurate, and like what's a real world example you may have to like help others understand your point?
That's a good question. So like I think justice, like I said, like manipulates the unfair world into a fair world. We can change stuff from like being um being like so if like I used in the video, like the example of like I steal something from someone else, right? Person
Mhm.
A steals something from person B. If I just give back the pound of grain to person B, that is like technically justice. You would think that, but the
Mhm.
problem is there's so many more vectors and factors at play here.
Right.
The truth is that the like I say this traumatizing, which might sound dumb, but like to a certain extent, like being stolen from can have some traumatizing effects. But like in all kinds of other cases, right? Like if someone attacks me and tries to kill me, right?
Mhm.
I can make sure they're in perfect health again, right? And
Mhm.
fix their body. But at the point right now, we don't have a justice in place that like fixes their mental brokenness, right? Like the
Right.
mental harm it did. So something
Mhm.
I just had happen is like one of my friend's friend, right, roommate, was
Mhm.
attacked by her boyfriend, right, with a
Mhm.
hammer,
Mm.
and he's in jail now, right? Obviously, she's getting her medical bills paid for, so she is like physically going to be okay, right?
Right.
And that's justice. However, at the same point, she's going to live with that traumatizing experience for the rest of her life, right? And
Right.
that will affect everything. And so I think right now we just don't have the technology to act retributively and
Mhm.
give people back what they really deserve, which is like everything status quo, right?
Mhm.
Um, I think she will now fully be affected for the rest of her life. And so I think one day maybe justice will be able to undo those traumatizing effects that we have,
Mhm.
just not right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And when you mentioned that too, like as far as like crime and people doing bad things to other people, I started thinking about RoboCop. I don't know if you saw that movie.
No, yeah, actually, yeah,
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
example, yeah,
But you know how he was going around and like he was like the criminals were like still trying to think they're all big and bad, and then he's
right.
like because of his AI and his machinery he's able to get an accurate like shot at the character of the bad guy and stop him or whatever. And it's like
Hmm.
when we go back to what you mentioned about the perfect soldier and stuff, it's like it's going to be interesting to see how like laws, justice, and crime is handled when you have these robotic cops and like drones and all this
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like being in place to take care of that in our society. So yeah.
I think it's be really hard to like. I've talked about this before, like AI judges, right?
Mhm.
What would that look like? I just think like that's gonna be hard to implement because like so much of judges is like empathy, like
Mhm.
basic empathy, right?
Right.
And we can't really program that into robots, and so how will that look, right?
I could tell you
I,
how it will
I,
sound. You have been served.
yeah, true. That'd be awesome, actually. Imagine like you get like 3 consecutive life sentences from a robot. That'd be
Oh my
so upset.
gosh.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's like there's this dream of like where robots can fix everything because like judges have bias, right?
Mhm.
How you dress, what you look like. Unfortunately, in America, your race, right? Like they do have bias, right?
Mhm.
Um, but if we can make a robot, like boom, bias removed, right? But
Mhm.
unfortunately, some of that bias, which is the bias of humanity, right, is good. Empathy is good, and
Mhm.
so if we can't program that into a robot, like it's going to be a pretty harsh society we live in then, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.